thing is always catching me off guard. Greetings. I am Grandmaster Amin Ra, coming to you from Mombasa, Kenya, and where I've lived here for 21 years to give the truth and the realities of the situation about modern Africa. A lot of people are out there, either they're ignoring the fact that Africa is booming, or what's going on in Africa, or they are uh, complaining that they can't find out uh, the truth about modern Africa and doing on this channel. And speaking of this channel, I want to give, before I even get started, I want to give a shout out to Sam, who supported the channel with $20. Thank you very much. The rest of you guys out there, we need your support. Today's topic is five psychological lies stopping brothers from coming to modern Africa. Now, let me adjust this. Now, this topic is, like I said, psychological. This means mental. So, a lot of the mental things that are going on that are preventing our people from going to Africa can't be seen, heard, touched, or tasted. We get involved in these kind of misunderstandings about Africa due to the number one threat to blacks in America. And everybody who knows me knows that the number one threat, the number one enemy of black people is Western mass media, propaganda, news, and entertainment. Propaganda is killing us. And it comes in many ways and many forms, including hidden forms where they actually hide the truth from us so that we can't even know. I mean, they'll put a story about one thing just to take your attention away from another thing that is happening. So, in all of that, this is my tiny attempt to try to battle it out with the psychological damage that is continuously being done to us as black people in the United States. How are any of them affecting me? And like I said, you may not feel like it's affecting you, but maybe by mentioning them, you might be touched, and then you can now focus on trying to work through that psychological damage. So, the first psychological damage, the psychological lie given to us, and it's like we make excuses and we base it on this psychological lie. And this excuse is inherent in a lot of us, and I wanted to slowly address them, then give you my points on it. And if you want to come into the chat room, or if you want to make in the comment section later, I'll be there. I promise you. Of course, with those who either may be in denial, may be haters, or want to give out their own personal view on what's happening. Oh, I'm getting an unstable message. Okay, it's gone. Hope the internet is going to be okay today. So I want to give out the first psychological lie is that we tell ourselves as an excuse is it's not worth the money to go to Africa. It's not worth the money, or I have better things to do with my money than use it to go to Africa. Now, this kind of excuse is prevalent. It's there a lot. Let's just say because we're in economic crisis, and a lot of us can't even afford to come. And this is exactly what you need to do. The reason why you can't afford to come is why you should come. You see, so to say that the trip is not worth the money, or I have better things to do with the money, flies in the face of the reality that you're in. You don't have money because you're on a dying planet. You don't have money because you're on the Titanic, and the Titanic has long since hit the iceberg and is sinking. And it's gonna, as the ship tilts and rises up, you're gonna start being shuffled around. You're gonna find you want to go out, but since the ship is at a tilt, you're finding it hard to walk up to get to the exit. Now, we all knows what's going to happen when the ship tilts completely 90 degrees. It's going to be almost impossible for you to get out. And it's not going to even if you happen to get the money at the last minute, you wouldn't be able to make it, because they're not going to just let you leave in mass numbers. I repeat that again. They're not going to let you leave in mass numbers. All right. Now, you may not think it's worth the money, but the United States spends many billions of dollars yearly on negative propaganda towards Africa. I mean, you talk about hiring people at a job. They hire people to come up with negative ways to influence your mind, that you think that the place is worthless to go to, or they influence your mind with other places. Like there was a time when there was a kind of a shift to go to Africa, and then all of a sudden there's Snoop Doggy Dogg and all these guys are going to Brazil, and they hanging out in Brazil and telling Brazil is the place, got a lot of black people, blah 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 blah. But it didn't take a few blacks to go there and see how bad blacks were being treated in Brazil. They're worse off in a lot of ways than we are in America. I mean, they really are being oppressed, and they were oppressed longer than the blacks in the United States, because they were the first ones to meet with Christopher Columbus and the gang and be tampered with. So, this was just a ploy to keep us, redirect our attention away from the motherland. And why? Why spend all these billions of dollars to give you a lot of negative propaganda about Africa if it's such a bad place in the first place? You see, that's something that doesn't make sense. I mean, they pay entertainers to say negative jokes about Africa. This is the secrets that you don't realize. So you get your Dave Chappelle's, your Eddies on there, and they're talking about Africa, and they're cracking jokes, and the jokes are all negative. The people are making movies, and they're creating scenes in movies that depict Africa in a negative light. I'm talking way back, even in Tarzan movies. You see, so why do that if the place is the way they all claim it is? Shithole or whatever. Chinese, written with Chinese. Why stop you from going? In fact, it seems to me that the psychological effect of you have better things to do with your money than to take it and spend it on a trip to Africa is very suspect, considering that you're black and you're an African. Okay, many of you don't think you're African, but you know where you come from. There's no denying that when I think it was George Bush, I may be wrong. No, was it George Bush? I think George Bush. When George Bush got into office, the first president, foreign president he saw was from Africa, was from Kenya. And every president subsequently either has come to Africa or was called to meet the president in the United States. And we won't even discuss about the French president the first president ever in history to come to Kenya. And then that was right after the British Premier came to Africa. And what was the headline in the news upon their visit? We want to do business with you now. They came to Kenya and asked the Kenyan president, we want to do business with you now. Because they saw what was happening with the Chinese. Chinese were doing business in Africa and things looked good. So the European countries started to come here and said, well, but they're late. China has already got like over 70% of the trade that Africa does now is with China. So the British and the US are too late, and they got a bad history that leaves a bad taste in your mouth. But beyond that, you say that you have better things to do with your money, but in reality, what you're saying is that you don't know enough about what is happening, both in the United States and in Africa. You're not really caring enough to see, like, okay, let me find out about the African Free Trade Agreement. Let me find out about COMESA. Let me find out about the East African Community. It's only when you do things like this that you can now build an interest in Africa. See these kind of positive changes that are going on. Read about how Africa was once the lost continent, and then within 8 years became the economic marvel that is still going on today. But I won't ask you to talk about America because you're good at ignoring. So I won't go there. But this number one is not worth. You believe it's not worth the money. This is an excuse, but it's a psychological thing based on the fact that America won't talk about the good things that go on in Africa. They only put the propaganda in there. Yes, what's happening? Rated R. Oh, I wonder how you doing? Anyway, number two, I will get hurt, abducted, kidnapped, or worse. It's too risky a place to go. Now, surely, and this is number two. You think that you might go to Africa and be abducted or kidnapped or worse? But if someone told you, let's go to France or let's go to England, let's go to Germany, or even let's go to Brazil, you think you'd be safer than if you came into Africa? I can tell you, my friend, you're not going to be in a safer place walking down an African street than you would be anywhere else in the world. Most African, all African countries don't allow the citizens to have guns. Most trading areas trade in commodities. They don't really trade in material goods like in the United States. So they don't have like high priced items running everywhere, or have people that are going to be walking around with a lot of cash because they have their peso now. So you're actually far safer, less chance to be abducted and kidnapped or worse in the country you're in right now. In fact, the country you're in right now is the murder capital of the world. So what does that mean? America is the murder capital. United States is the murder capital of the world. What does that mean? It means more people per capita are murdered in the United States or raped in the United States, because it's also the rape capital of the world, than in any other country in the world. And then they're jailing people. You should be jailing me soon, but I think I'm relocating somewhere in Southern Africa, and I'm still in my early 20s. Wow, okay, you're in your early 20s. Then I say like, you're lucky, because I wish I could have come 10 years earlier than when I was coming. So when I came. So make your first visit wherever you decide to go. Remember, wherever you want to settle, you can always change your mind. So since you're young, you know, you can travel around like a lot of young people want to do, and compare. So most Southern Africa and Eastern Africa is the same. between here and South Africa, they're basically like the same. So I think you'll find that out, and then it's now from there. It only depends on who you know or what type of business you might want to get into. So okay, yeah. So America is the murder capital of the world. So really, when you talk about not going to Africa, actually, you'd be safer. You'd be doing yourself a favor because you'd be more safer in Africa than you would be walking around in U.S. The U.S. is very violent. When they come to attack you in the streets, they don't even want to ask you questions. They want to knock you in the head. Now I've been dealing with Africans here, and I have been robbed by Kenyans at knife point. It's a funny situation because when they came up to me, it was I think I was like, I don't know. I had not been drinking, but I mean, I was in a jovial mood. So when the guy came and showed me the knife, I looked down and I thought he was trying to sell me kitchen knives because the guy had a kitchen knife. Look at the knife. I'm like, what's this? Then they grabbed my girl that I was with, and then it became more serious. So you see, she was like, "Oh, give up the things. It's not worth trying to fight them." And when I look back and revisit the situation, I could have killed the three guys, no problem. One guy stabbed me in the back with like a poke. I still got the scar today. But if this would have been America, I just got my throat cut, or the knife would have really went in. The guy would have really been trying to kill me. These guys weren't interested in killing me. They was interested in my coat. Who gonna fight over a coat? And so since that time, because I was in Africa and I felt carefree, I had never had a problem. But then when it happened to me, now my eyes are open. So I was ripe. I was like the foreigner that was really ready to get robbed. And I took my comeuppance, and they tried me again another time, and I was waiting. I was running. I jumped up in the street like nothing like that's going to happen now. No, nothing like that's going to happen. I raised my hand. They just floated back into the darkness. It was like, oh, this guy knows us, But in America, no, that's just you could be targeted, and they could be watching you for even days before they get you and wipe you out. You really have to be careful. So risky in Africa is far less than what you've got in the U.S. already. And if you have children, even more so. I know already you've got a lot of worries on your mind about what might happen to them run around in the streets. And some of us, I'm really sorry to say, have lost their children or lost people that they know or relatives based on violence. It's not few of us. It's not many of us that don't know somebody who was a victim of violence in the United States, and it's just something that is not happening in Africa. So the next thing, number 3, there isn't anything or one that interests me enough for me to go. There isn't anything or anyone in Africa that interests me enough for me to want to go there. Now, I can understand this for somebody that's an early visitor, but I mean, my God, if you're listening to this video right now, then you should know the African plan should include you getting African friends. That's your fault that you don't know nobody. Maybe you're a hermit at the keyboard, sitting in front of your computer all night, and you're not really socializing with people on the outside. But I assure you that if you got one African friend in the country, and you're beholden to the guy or the girl, you'll be wanting to come. Let me see what this says. I've been to Namibia and passed by Ethiopia, where I live in. The sea is much crazier than Windhoek. You gotta explain that to me. But if you was in Namibia, a lot of that country is still controlled by the white minority there, and it's unfortunate. They're really behind. But some place like Kenya, where that shit ain't happening, whites don't own shit, basically shit. So, and a lot of the land that they had grabbed is being taken from them by the government based on the new constitution. So, as Kenya has a motto, I would say that you come here and you wouldn't see white people run around with their nose up in the air, as opposed to Namibia, where they still got some of that going on. but things are changing. So, it's another one. If someone is up and coming musician or actor, would you still recommend Africa to them? Definitely. Um, definitely. All you have to do is start connecting with some small African musicians, and then you're on your way. You see what you have, unlike in America, you black, so it's like they see you coming. If you ain't dancing like Michael Jackson, I shouldn't. You can tell my age. Or if you're not dancing like Usher, then you ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? So the level of competition in the United States is very high, but in Africa it's very low, and you got a foot in the door because you come to Africa as a Black American, and you utilize that. People gonna see you even if you don't, if you hide it. So why hide it? Why hide the fact? Use that to propel yourself and get into doors that may not have been open for you. So put that in there. Use your. You know what I'm saying? So. They're gonna give you a break to listen to you, and you can get with some of these people here. They have sold out concerts here for Black artists. I think I just did a thing on a video on the Black Man's Guide to Moving to Africa in Facebook, showing Beyonce singing the Nigerian national anthem. Brought those people to tears. You understand what I'm saying? What does that mean? I'm telling you, we as Black people in the United States, because of our unique situation, we are really gifted. We can produce really gifted people that sing and dance. And when you come into Africa, it's a great thing. Now, our problem with us is that people thinking about the money first. I'll go there to Africa, then I won't get a job in America. They won't hire me. Shit, Dave Chappelle went to America, got $1 billion contract when he came back. Richard Pryor came to Africa and he got $1 million contract when look at that. Those brothers that come here. TB Jakes is on his way to Kenya. You know what I'm saying? They want making money. So that's a misnomer if you have to ask that question. No, it's a lot of opportunities for you. You hurry up and get down there and test them with water. Nothing's gonna happen until you come here. Senator you got a Gambian passport, but didn't go to Gambia. So that's weird. But I'm still waiting. I still say like a lot of African. Let a Black American, let Wesley Snipes come. No, not Wesley Snipes. Damn, he's out. Okay, prominent Black actor come here and say, "I'm leaving America. I'm going to live in Africa, in East Africa." That's gonna be a whole new conversation. So, there's nothing in there, anything or anyone. It's because you're not the one that's searching for those things. You gotta get people. You gotta get people. You know me, right? Yeah, you're here. You're watching me talk. You know me. You can talk to me in the conversation. You know me now. So that's upon you to make that psychological point. But it doesn't even hold water because it's easy for you right now to get online and you go to my Black Man's Guide to Visiting Modern Africa site on Facebook. It's one of the very few groups that is a mixture of Africans and African Americans. Usually you go to a group, it's either one group or another. But because of because I lived in America and then came to Kenya, you get a lot of mixtures of those in the group, and a lot of my students from martial arts is there. And when you talk, you can get them, and then start talking in messages. You got to be sociable. You know what I mean? Nobody gonna buy from you if they don't know who you are. So know nothing about you. So you got to get social. Okay, moving right along. White America will see me as a militant. This is number 4. The reason why I don't want to go, psychological lies on why I won't go to Africa. You start talking about white America, or your white girlfriend, or your white family members, or your white boss, or anybody else that's non-black out there that's doing business with you, or you got a job with, they control your job. Your job depends on your social life, where you go, what you do. White America will see me as a militant, and this could affect my ability to get employment or better employment. If I go to Africa, they see me in Africa, they gonna think like, oh man, this guy done jumped to the enemy. You know what I'm saying? And that's because you feel that way because psychologically, that if you go, you're gonna like it, and they know if you go there, you're gonna be at home, and then they're gonna have to start not trusting you. You see, so you just be there hanging out in Africa, taking them pictures, gee, hey, on the beach, woo, and then you know, they see that, and then they like, oh shit, we can't talk, we can't. This is not a nigga no more. You know what I'm saying? This guy's eyes is open. Whether your eyes are open or not, when you come here, when white America find that you went to Africa, and it gonna change. You know, case in point, just look at how many brothers go here and then how their careers have changed one way or the other. Something ain't gonna be the same when you come back from the African trip. You know what I'm saying? Now, some of you, many of you are retired, and you don't, you could give a shit. You know what I'm saying? But for you younger guys and you young people, some of you guys, I understand that point. I understand that, but that's a psychological lie. Your life is going to change, or it may change, or it may not change. But if you going to Africa, that don't stop your life from changing. Shit, I was in America, and it changed my fucking life, and I had no clue about going to Africa at the time. You understand what I'm saying? So that shit can happen to you any day. You can be called to the office, and they can tell you that they didn't like the color of your car, or they found you on Facebook at the nightclub where homosexuals or something, or not even homosexuals, the wrong kind of people hang out, and that we feel like that's a bad influence on employment here, so we're gonna have to let you go. And you'd be like, damn, man, that's when you get your check and come to Africa. No, man, go. While you wide awake, tell them you just want to see, you want to see. I make some bad videos there, which all your pictures in the mirror. I have two sets of pictures when you come to Africa. Have one, like having a great time, and then have some like it's a terrible place. And when they think you think it's a terrible place, they want now it's good. Come on back home to the U.S. Come on, we're gonna sprinkle a little racism on you, but you'll be okay. Anyway, before I get into the fifth one, I just want to go again. I want to shout out, thanks Sam for the $20. And as you know, many of you, we have no super chat in Africa. We don't have any Patreon. They refuse that. So what can we do here if you're in Africa and you want to try to do a video show on Africa on YouTube? There's nothing you can do. So we have this. It's our African super chat. WesternUnion.com. Here's the phone number. Make sure you go mobile wallet, M-Pesa. Look for this word there. Click it. This is the contact name. Make sure you spell it correctly, just like this. And voila. Samuel, you did an outstanding job. Thanks again, brother. We can always use support. And for those of you that are thinking about it, just remember that if you send $5, it's like 500 shillings. Not $500, but it's like $50. $5, like $50 here. So it really makes us go doing another video to support Sam's $20, an interview with one of the smartest men in Kenya right after this video. If the light is going to stay there. So this is exciting, and stay tuned for that. But if you want to really show your support before I do that, so you won't feel like you're doing it afterwards, bingo. Hey, what's happening from Virginia, USA? Welcome. It's early. You're not in the West Coast. Most of the people on the chat are going to be from the East Coast, because I think it's like 6 in the morning. 7 in the morning now in the United States. I mean, in California. So I was just talking to them about the 5 psychological lies that are stopping us from coming to modern Africa. And to recap on those, I want to put them out again. 5 psychological lies stopping brothers from coming to modern Africa. Number 1 was it's not worth number 1 reason why you think, but it's a psychological. This has been psychologically imprinted in your mind. The first psychological lie is it's not worth the money, or I have better things to do with my money. This is what we tell ourselves. It's a lie, because I don't come to Africa, and you go out there and buy you an iPhone. Or you go out and buy your big screen TV bigger than the one you had in your previously. because we're capitalistic in nature, and that makes us buy a lot of material things that we don't need. And you can think of an African trip as actually an investment to future money deals, So I don't think why that would be the case. Number two, I may get hurt, abandoned, kidnapped, or worse. It's too risky a place to come. I think I recapped that saying that America is the number one murder capital of the world, number one rape capital of the world, highest incarceration rate of black people in the world times 10. You might be a lot safer if you was here than if you stayed in America. I mean, I know brothers that was in America, refused to come, then they was murdered. I know brothers that was here, there in the United States, my partners. I tell you, come, you should come. I'm gonna come. I ain't gonna come. Then next thing you know, dead, overdose on drugs. You see, I know brothers in there. I'm telling man, you should come. You just you should come. Oh man, I'm gonna come. Then next thing you know, I'm calling up. I'm talking to somebody else, and they telling me, "Oh, so and so is in prison." What? You could have been here and safe. Number three, there isn't anything or anyone in Africa that interests me enough for me to go. Like I said, that's part of your fault because you don't want to know nobody, or you're afraid that I don't know, you think the African's going to reject you. My friend, it'd be easier for you to make friends with an African than it is with a brother on the street in the U.S. You could probably trust them a lot more than you can trust but unfortunately, I mean, I don't want to put us all down, but it's like that. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about, So this is just a lie, an excuse, psychological lie we put in our mind, and that's all based on propaganda. They be telling you that the Africans don't like Black Americans, and that's the most ridiculous statement I have ever heard in my life. African, I mean, how many people go to Africa and they tell you you don't see nothing like that? But then you got these haters that come out there psychologically damaged talking about Africans don't like us. What they gonna do to you when you get here? Not like you, not help you, not talk to you? That's not true. I've got DNA tests in Bantu. Okay, you didn't see my show on the blood testing, or maybe you did. But this modern Africa, by the time you come, you should not use it as a guideline. You should be using where you can make money. If you're a young man, where you can make money, not the blood you got in your vein. Nobody at the southern border of such and such a place. That's not helping us in the modern days. Most Africans I meet in the U.S. are much nicer than most of the. Yes, some of them have been really damaged by meeting Black people, so you should forgive them if you run across them being hesitant. But by nature, they're not hesitant. But if they've been in America for some time, they're really going to be weary of you, and you really got to take time for them to get to, for them to put themselves. It's the same with us. White people, when you meet them in Africa, they're very friendly from the get. Then they slowly change to their true self as you get to know them. Black people is very standoffish in Africa when we get there. But when we get an African friend, we really take it into our heart. We'll stop a bullet for them. We'll jump a bullet for them. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that by a lot of people. But thank God there's no guns allowed in the country, so I don't have to really worry about that. But you know what I'm saying? So when you meet an African, give them the benefit of the doubt. Take your time with them. Don't let them rough you up mess you up at the beginning. Let them see you, and that takes time in a lot of cases. I would know because I work in sales. Okay. Yeah, well, you see, yeah. I had many friends. I had lots of friends, and I had a woman that, and we had kids by a Kenyan woman in America. And so it was a time even we went to Las Vegas, and then I looked up. I was the only American in the band. Everybody else was Kenyan and African, and then and a lot of them were going to Las Vegas for the first time, and they was all giddy and happy about it. And then I didn't realize the value of that until I came to Africa, and then spent some time, and then realized that that was an amazing trip for them because all of them had life experiences in Africa, and they probably never thought they would ever come see a place like Las Vegas. Okay, number 4, white America will see me as a militant. What was that? A militant. Oh, this could affect my ability to get employment or better employment. Okay, again, there's so many variables that can affect you in America without you even thinking about coming to Africa. And when some of you know what I'm talking about. So why not come? You know what I'm saying? And it could be good for you, or it could be bad for you, or it could be good for you. And I said it is better that it's going to be good for you, because then it gives you an opportunity to have a place to go to. When you start dealing with white people in America and they start giving you racism and shit like that, or you start meeting white people and then they got their thumb up their ass or looking at you with their nose in the air, you know, you can, in a conversation with them, you can tell them, yeah, I was in Africa. Huh? And you just watch them, you just watch them shrink, because they don't know how to take you if you went to Africa. You must have had some sort of consciousness to go there. And then what happened when you was there? You see what I'm saying? They know you know the truth. You know, they can't put those propaganda lies in your mind or treat you badly because they think that you think you better off in America than you would be in Africa. You know, some white boys that be holding them signs up, go back to Africa. You shit, snatch that shit out their hand. Tell them, give me the plane ticket. You see, they change. They say that, and they show those signs on TV showing up what black people go back to Africa. Sure. Or, you know, let some white boy come up to you and tell you, go back to Africa. You look him in the eye and say, I was just there in March and had a wonderful time. You see them, they'd be shocked, you know. They think you think the grave, and you see them be so, you see? Because white people need to be told that. You know what I mean? Like they said on TV, America is not the greatest country anymore. It's not even the #1 country economically anymore. China has surpassed that. So white people haven't got this message. You know, Western media want to try to confuse people with all kind of different kind of statistics, and then they want to eventually work over to the America got the biggest military, and that shit ain't even true, because China got a bunch of army men that can, like, you know, 5-to-1 soldiers to America. So you're gonna try to tell me that the Chinese can't figure out a way to deploy that them 5-to-1 advantage to their advantage? I'm joking. So number 5, we talked about. I can't see myself living in Africa, so why go there? Okay, again, the reason why you can't see yourself living in Africa is because you haven't investigated into it enough, or you haven't investigated into America's situation. Now, I was going to do a video called what was the name of the video? Africa. Where will Africa and the United States be 5 years into the future? And then in that video, I was going to discuss about where we would see us as Black Americans in the United States 5 years from now, when Trump be in his second term, and 5 years from now when Kenya's living in Kenya. You know, I decided against it because this shit was it's too deep, and I feel like a lot of people are gonna hate me for that. Let me see what's in the chat line. I got DNA. Okay, most Africans, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't know because okay. White people at the airport look at me weird when they saw me coming back from Africa and realized I was from the U.S. Yeah, definitely. And your family members and your friends also. It really, for you guys that have come and went come back home, you know, it changes your life. It changes your perspective. And this for number 1, where it says it's not worth the money. I have better things to do, and I don't see myself living in Africa. You should try to realize that the psychological effects it will have on you, and realize more than anything that these things are psychological lies. You know, I mean, I'm here and I'm talking about this on a video and about Africa, and you're listening, you know, and you know, and yet you're thinking about you could never come. One of these psychological lies is affecting you. Yet you're watching this video. Okay, let me help you. Let me break it down. Psychologically, you're at a crossroads. Should I go? Should I not go? And inherently, because of the propaganda that is spewed all through the media, all through advertisement, all through entertainment, through even in sports, if you don't know how to recognize it, then it is affecting your ability to make a clear and correct decision what to do with the future of your life. Because you only get one life, and you only get one life with your children. The time that it takes you to raise your children is very short. Before you know it, they out the door. You trying to teach them something as they leave, and they like, "Oh, Dad, I got this." You see, but they don't really got it because the American propaganda machine is super strong. And if it got you and you didn't recognize it, then it's damn sure gonna catch your kids. Like my kids, I don't let my kids watch that crap on TV. I don't let my woman watch the news and watch all of that nonsense. You see what I'm saying? And we live a much better life without all that negativity coming into the house. And that's even when I'm in Africa. I can imagine what it would be like if it was in America. You know, there's a time I caught my kid on cable watching Nickelodeon, and they would have some homosexual kid there, and I was like, how in the hell? You know, I blocked Nickelodeon on my cable, and then I went back later and it was back again. So you see, that shit had to go. I told GoTV, you can go to hell. You know, how you going to unblock what I blocked? That's just too much. They're going to try to give me all kind of stories. But you see, that's a battle you have to face when you're raising your children. In America, you can just be defeated. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way you're going to get them out of all of that. So what's that? How do your kids feel about Black Americans? They just know daddy is a Black American. You know? They just know daddy is a Black American and mommy is a Kenyan. You know? Other than that, I mean, I go to their school, watch them play with their friends, and I just feel so good that they just one of them. You can't come to a group of kids and pick out my kids. You know what I'm saying? So, they're like a little bit of a celebrity in school because, dad's a Black American. I go to the parent teachers meeting, they always be telling me, they be giving me extra messages to go there. And then I'm in the meeting with all of the parents, then the head teacher is there talking about, okay, well, we have to speak in English because I said, no, I can understand, because they're really trying to cater for me. I guess it helps the school when they know like we got even foreigners got their kids here, So there is no I hit the wrong button. There is no real issue there. Your Kenyan born kids. Yeah, my kids are all born here. Not all my kids are born here. I have 3 kids in the United States, and I have talked to all 3 of them recently, and they're all saying that they want to come see me in April next year. So we're going to be doing a very big family reunion. If you guys can do the necessary and support the channel, I will give you a special treat and allow you to see that reunion live. We will record it. But if you guys don't, it's not a threat now. I'm not threatening you. I think by the time April comes, channel will be over. Because guys are saying, they're thinking this is like a normal channel, or I'm automatically another psychological. This should be number 6. Psychologically, you don't want to support channels that are good for you, and you can break that psychological lie by doing the bingo. Freeze the frame, jot down the information, and Western Union us a super chat. Okay, so I think I'm going to be cutting this video now. I'm going to be 10 minutes short. Dealing with my kids. I have kids born in America. I had a relationship with a woman when I became Black conscious. We named all our kids African names because we was planning on coming to Africa. And at the last minute, she, changed her mind. and then proceeded to destroy the relationship, and then proceeded to blame me for all of the things that was going bad in the relationship. So I was like a witness to all that because it was part of me, and man, So, long story short, we separated. I started watching. We started sharing my kids. She'd bring the kids to me while I was at work, and I was like, "Look, now you have to pick them up by 4 because I have to work. I have classes." And then she wouldn't pick them up. And then that thing was like, okay. So we decided I would take my son and raise my son, and she raised the girls. That went well for a minute. Then she stole my son. It's like, she couldn't say like, let's talk. I think I would need my son back for a few, months or weeks. I would have been okay. But she just, I'm there, and then she just took it, and this is not to get too much into my personal life, but that had a psychological effect on me because all the things that she was doing, even from the beginning, was a destruction. And I was trying to repair the damage, but that was the more I tried to repair it, the more these kind of things kept on happening. So there had to be a clean break. And then 9 months later, I came to Africa, and I thought once I was here, I could see for myself. And then if everything was great, I would call her, and then enough time would go by, she'd miss me, and then we could get back together. But she had already formed all the lies that she wanted to form, and she couldn't back down from that. And so that was the end of our family. Now my children are grown now, and I'm happy to say that we are communicating. We were young at first and didn't understand, but now I think as they got older, they can understand that it's not always what one parent tells you because they only have one side of the story. Anyway, they see me as a family man, and they see their mom not as a family person. She's just party go party. In my opinion, I'm not going to talk ill of her, but I always wanted a family, and eventually I got one. And she didn't want a family structure where there was a man and a woman in the house, because she never got that after I was gone. 20 years later, she never got that. So I'm just saying, you are what you look back at your life and you can see. On my side, I wanted a family. I have it. African children are there, and I'm very happy, and I hope she's happy too. But as far as our kids concerned, they were unhappy for a long period of time, and there still have never been any closure because we have never got a chance to embrace each other since I've been gone. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. And then those people that are here on the channel just know I'm human, and I've been in several relationships, but at the end of the day, I'm determined to be happy and get what I want. And I think I'm going to get what I think nature wants. And nature wants me to have children and raise them. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So we'll be ending this video. Hope you enjoyed the five psychological lies stopping Black people from coming to the U.S. Hope it gives you ability to think a little bit on the issue. And the next time we meet, we should be having a live video, because I always promise I'm going to give you live videos. And think about this again. Support the channel. And you'll feel good about yourself. Psychologically, it'll get you ready to go towards your trip. And I'm not going to do a lot of advertising about it, but I'm going to say that the date is in April 2020. And everybody should not send me any money about preparing their trip. Get your money together, get your passport together. And by that time, maybe the channel will grow. And, we'll be like 4 or 5 of us all can, make the trip on the same week. And then we can all meet each other, and I'll be happy to take you around, show you the business areas. And we're going to be talking about that also later. Letting you meet influential people and help you make a better decision about what you think about Africa as an alternative place to live, whether it be today, 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, when you have an African plan in your pocket, even when you're in the United States, it empowers you to no end because you to all the madness that's going on in the United States. And my God, we don't even know what it's going to look like for Black people 5 years from now. So I was going to say thanks for being on the show, and we'll meet again. I'll put this. Should I put this information in the chat? I'll put this information in the comment section for those people that want to support the channel. So until we meet again, maybe in about another hour, I just want to say peace.